Hello my friends and welcome. Katie here with Eastwick's Paper and Ink. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Today I am here for a Case the Fellow Team Tiny Creator Hop, hashtag Team Tiny Case. I am casing Sharon Luska's card right there on the screen. And these are some of the supplies that I'm going to be using. I'm going to have some spun sugar, shaded lilac, Victorian velvet, wilted violet, seedless preserves, worn lipstick, Twisted Citron, and Mowed Lawn for my distress inks. I've got some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I've got some eyeshadow brushes, an eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to use a couple different ones, that one there and a different one. And then I've got the regular makeup brush, and then I've got a white Jelly Roll pen. I've got the Agapanthus stamp set from Hero Arts, and I'm going to be using my Cat Scrappiness condensed uppercase alphabet die to cut out my letters. And once we get started, which is here in just a second, I'm going to be using the Cougar 80-pound cover super smooth cardstock because I wanted to see how that blended. I picked that up recently in my cardstock.com video, and I wanted to test that out for the blending. So here I'm just going through and stamping up my fuller. There's two stamps in here for the Agapanthus, and I'm using the more fuller stamp. I'm going to stamp that 3 times. I did cut a mask off screen, and then I'm going to stamp the other 2 on either side. I do use my transparency grid because I'm lazy and I don't clean my stamp off, and I didn't want to get any excess ink onto my card base or card panel. And so once I get that stamped, we're going to get into the ink blending. Now, one of the things I absolutely loved about Sharon's card was the technique. That's what got me. The card's beautiful, stunning, I love it, but her technique is what I loved the most. And because it shows that you can use just about anything, whatever your imagination wants to throw at you to try when it comes to ink blending and card making and things. Sharon will show you, I promise you. She uses Vaseline, she uses coffee filters. I mean, if you're not familiar with Sharon's channel, I'm going to link it up down below, as well as the video for the card that she made that I'm casing, and you need to check it out because absolutely blown away by the stuff that she does on her channel. I love it. And this I loved also. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I showed you not ink blending, but blending with your gelatos with eyeshadow brushes. And so this is the same technique, except you're using your dye inks. So here I'm coming in with my spun sugar, and that's the first layer that goes on all of the flowers, the petals and everything. And what I loved about this was you don't have to be perfect. You're just putting ink in. It's better to go outside the lines, bring it up over, blend that softness up over, the tops of the petals. It just, and blur that, blend in. And that's what makes this so unique and perfect, because 1, it's going to be different every time. And 2, you don't have to be so particular about your ink and where it goes and cleaning your brushes and things. Now for these colors, I went from the spun sugar to the shaded lilac, and I didn't clean my brushes, and also the Victorian velvet. Well, the Victorian velvet, I think I cleaned that off when I did that center bit there with that pink makeup brush. But you don't have to be perfect. I mean, it's good for the colors to blend together because then everything has a cohesive feel to it. So here I'm coming in with that bigger eyeshadow brush, and it was okay, but my petals aren't as big as Sharon's were. So I come in with the pencil eyeshadow brush, or the smudger type eyeshadow brush, and I use that instead because that's allowed me to get in a little bit deeper into the nooks and crannies of some of these petals because they're smaller. And once I get done applying all my ink blending, I'm going to come in with my greens and create my leaves. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. You can go outside the lines. You can blend everything together. So once I get that done and I move on to my greenery, which really makes it happen, you know, I mean, this just doesn't really look like much. But once I start adding in, this is the Twisted Citron, I go in, and Sharon does like a V shape, which you totally could do. And I started doing that, and I do that every now and again. But I generally just stipple in the green and give that soft effect, because, again, doesn't have to be perfect. And once we go in, we're going to put in some detailing with I use a Copic multi-liner pen, but a Micron pen. You're gonna define those spaces with some leaves, just by hand drawing in some leaves, just to give some definition, and it's gonna look perfect. So here I'm just deepening up that green with some mowed lawn. Again, I'm just stippling, blending, brushing in into the open spaces and the lighter areas with the green, just to fill in those. It looks like it's a bouquet bushel, each individual, but that's okay. And once we die cut everything, you're not really even going to notice all that detailing. Now, when I come in here in a second and do my hand-drawn leaves, my pen is a little bit, the nib is narrower, I think, than Sharon, so my line's not quite as bold as hers. But again, you use what you have, and you can do this technique with any floral. You don't have to have specific stuff that you see everybody else using to incorporate a particular technique into your card making, which is what I love about it. And so here I'm just drawing in those. Not perfect, doesn't have to be. It's nice to be able to not have to worry and make everything so perfect, which you're going to see, because my card is far from perfect as I go through and do my die cutting and everything. So here I'm lining everything up to die cut my letters. And I want to talk a little bit about Sharon. Sharon is not only a card maker extraordinaire, she also owned a spa for 26 years, and she did nails. She does nails at home now. And this, my friends, is one of her clients' nails that she's done. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, just stunning. I wish I lived closer to her, because I don't do acrylics or anything, but I would certainly go and have her do my nails. And but she was also destined to be an engineer and go to med school, and she had a bad car wreck, and that led her into opening her nail salon, because she thought she'd try out nails and see if she could actually do anything for more than an hour. And lo and behold, for 26 years, that's the path that she took. And it's crazy how things can derail us from our plan and put us on a different path. And I can tell you, I'm grateful that that path took her there, because we became friends. She is going to be a YouTube sensation once people realize all the neat stuff she does on her channel. She's already almost to 1,000 subscribers. And I appreciate you, Sharon, and I'm so thankful to be able to call you my friend. And so happy that you're here on YouTube to share your talent with us and the rest of the world. I love you, my friend. So here I'm going to finish up just putting on some sequins. Nothing fancy. These I picked up at Michael's, and they're not really much color to them. They're clear, but they're not rainbowy like you would think. A little bit, but not much. So for the sentiment, I'm going to use the thoughtful messages, the word friend, and I'm also going to use the little 3 hearts that are in that stamp set. As you'll be able to see here in a second, I didn't put my O on evenly. It's up a little bit higher. So I created a little banner that's a little bit higher, or a little bit longer and a little bit thicker, so that I could kind of tuck that up under the O to compensate for that space, and it wouldn't look so weird. But I did pop that up on some fun, not fun foam, but the little Doris squares, foam squares. And that's going to finish up the card for me today, guys. Click the hashtag TeamTinyCase, follow along on the hop. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video.